My name is Ralph Johnson, and I'm a visiting assistant professor in the Department of Forestry and Natural Resources at Purdue University. Today, I've invited Dr. Chuck Hibberd, our Director of Extension at Purdue University, to talk about the program of extension in our university, and specifically how that program involves you as a graduate student as part of your requirement for extension and outreach to meet your degree requirements. Thanks for visiting with us today, Chuck. I'd like to ask you about how does this requirement mesh with the land-grant mission as well as with our new strategic plan in the college so that the students have a better feel for how this is going to involve them?
You know, the land-grant mission really has three legs to a stool, the discovery or research piece, the teaching or education piece, and then the outreach or extension, or what some people call engagement piece. And really, when a land-grant university does all three of those things, we not only generate new knowledge, but then we find ways to share that knowledge with the people that really need it and would use it. And so that's directly in alignment with not only the Purdue University Strategic Plan, but now also the Purdue Agriculture Strategic Plan, what we call discovery with delivery. So new ideas, new knowledge, new information that is focused on relevant issues that are important to people, and then delivered to them in ways that they can use to somehow improve their lives or livelihood.
The students that I've talked with when they've heard about our new policy often ask the question, what's in it for me? I think it's obvious what's in it for the university, but clearly there's a role of personal development in an extension and outreach program to a graduate study.
Sure. And I think that's a great question. You know, presenting at a scientific conference is a great way to not only communicate your research information to your peers, but also practice those teaching skills, those presentation skills that are so important in this day and age. And so we don't want to discount that. That's very important. But you know, the reality is there aren't many consumers of our information that are really at those scientific conferences. And so what we look for in extension engagement is different ways to deliver information to the people that need it. This is done sometimes in a teaching setting like a workshop or a conference where we invite the target audience for the information that we have. It's done to some extent on websites. More and more in this day and age it's being done using some of the technology that's out there like blogs or social networking or things like that, where we identify an issue, talk about that issue, and we're part of the discussion as an expert resource to help people move forward on that particular issue. You know, what we find for a lot of scientists is the reason they do this work is because they want to see it used. They want to see it make a difference in our society somehow. And so that's part of what extension does, and why graduate students who practice doing extension work is they can learn how to communicate that scientific information to people who will use it in ways that benefit them.
We, at the College of Agriculture, we've done extension and outreach for a number of years, and quite frequently we use a structured approach to extension programs. Can you talk a little bit about why we would want to use a structured approach, and why would a graduate student need to be involved in such a rigorous approach to extension and outreach?
You know, I think one of the real things that we're trying to focus on in extension is outcome-based extension programming. And what we're really talking about is saying, okay, here's an issue that's important to people. Now, what is it that we want to be different? How do we want to influence people so that they have the choice to change their behavior or practice? What is it that we want to be different? So we think about that first. That's the outcome. The output is the products or services that we provide to help people gain that knowledge so they can make that choice to change their behavior or practice. And so you think about the outcome first, the output as what you deliver. And then the other part of being very, very deliberate is saying, how do we deliver that? We have all different kinds of learners. People gather information, assimilate information in different ways. Some people are more hands-on. Others are very comfortable at a computer screen. Others really want to hear somebody explain it to them. And so we need to think about how we deliver information, a learner-centered approach to delivering information. And so if we're more deliberate about the way we develop and deliver these extension programs, it just really increases the chances that we will achieve the outcome that we're looking for. And that's really what it's all about.
Chuck, another thought that many of the students talk about is traditionally their approach to extension, or at least outreach for their graduate study, would be a paper presented at one of their scientific society meetings. What are your thoughts about what does satisfy a requirement for extension and outreach?
Yeah, we're interested in the scholarship of extension engagement, and that's really what we're talking about, is what things count. When we talk about the scholarship of extension, what we're really talking about is how people transform research or evidence-based knowledge into ways that people can use. That's a scholarly endeavor. And only people that have expertise in that area are going to be successful doing that because they understand the science, they understand the knowledge base around that particular issue. And so think about any way that you can produce a product that will help people understand that transformation. And so products like publications, extension publications are one of the traditional ways that we do that, and that works very well. We're known for our extension publications. We have a lot of people to come to us for extension publications, and so that's one way. But there's a whole myriad of other ways to do that with web resources, with more interactive kinds of things, decision support tools, spreadsheets, or those kinds of things that help people make decisions by inputting their data or their information. Facilitated discussions like blogs and things like that. These are all things that we would consider to be scholarly efforts to transform research-based knowledge into ways that people can use. So those are the kind of things that count, and really that definition is much broader today than it was even 5 years ago.
I'd like to thank you for helping us out today with this presentation. As you're aware, we're using more new technologies in our program at the university, one of them being distance learning, and we're hoping to move our extension and outreach requirement into a distance delivery model where we use these kinds of technologies. So hopefully this will give our students a chance to not only see technologies in action, but learn something about our extension and outreach programs.
And that would be wonderful. We are looking for people who have that kind of focus on discovery with delivery as part of their work. And if they do that, they can be very, very successful.